Real thoughts, real trades, real journey. A video journal documenting the lessons learned on my journey to becoming a disciplined trader. Welcome to Trading the Journey. I'm Neil, and today I want to share a trading day that taught me one important lesson. Let's see what the market had to teach me. So, today was kind of one of those days where I really thought something was going to go, and it didn't. As you can see on the screen here, I took a reversal. This was a clear bullish engulfing, and I thought it had a clear shot at least a temporary pullback, and it teased me. It teased me before it reversed, and I ended up breaking even per my rules. You can see that it closed above my 1-to-1 here, risk reward. And when it did that, I moved my stop up, and it teased me and went down, and it just went completely. There were other opportunities that I had. I could have taken a fence trade, and I missed it. I was focused on the waterfall, and I thought I was going to get another one, and it never happened. My bias was bearish for the day. I wanted to say bullish. In my mind, I was thinking this thing could go up, but looking at the context, looking at the structure, looking at the patterns on the daily chart, I thought it best not to go against the current trend at this point right now. Because I was getting the feeling that this would be a bearish day. When I was first looking at it, it hadn't broken the highs from Thursday. It was still holding on the overall daily trend on the tighter timeline that I was looking at. I wasn't opposed to it going up, but I was thinking down and maybe in the afternoon go up. Keyword maybe. There was a gap up from Friday's session close to the open on Sunday. So typically the market's tendency is to fill that gap before it does one thing or another. When it would do that, that's the question. But it has a tendency to eventually fill that gap. So let's make that distinction right there. I'm not, there's no guarantee it's going to fill that day. There's no guarantee it could fill tomorrow or the week later, but it does have to have a tendency to eventually fill that gap. And that's what it actually did today. Was it eventually filled that gap when it closed below the previous day's low. And as you can see, it just kept going down. I had switched back to the 2-minute chart just to see if there was anything else that I could get in on. And as you can see, there were other plays, but I didn't stick around. After just waiting and waiting, I didn't feel like waiting any longer for an opportunity, because I had missed so many on the way down that I could have taken. There's a minor power bar here, power bar here. I mean, I just couldn't get it. I mean, so I shut it down. It was a little frustrating seeing it, go down and not getting what I was looking to get out of it. But in the end, the rules are the rules. I followed the rules. I followed the management. It was in my mind, it was an A+ setup. As far as the trade that I took, A+ management. It didn't get any better than that. But it was a great way to start the morning on the right foot. The bears were fighting hard to maintain their position. The bulls were just fighting. But the bears ended up fishing downriver. And they really took it to the bulls. There was a continuation on the 5-minute chart, and actually the fence trade did form on the 5-minute chart, and I wasn't watching it. I completely missed it. I may have been out in the kitchen making something to eat. I may have, been distracted on something else. I don't know. I know I wasn't watching the chart at the time, and ended up missing that particular trade because it would have paid off well, following the rules. On the 2-minute chart, there was a fence setup, but I decided to skip it because I was looking for a close below the low of the day to get in. While it's a bearish engulfing, the trend down was pretty far, so likely a pullback coming, but I wasn't worried if it took off. It would have been more enticing if it was at the beginning of a trend and not an hour into it. So that also played into my decision to not take that trade. It was kind of a mind job on that, the way that the market took off to the downside. It retested the fence twice, failed both times. The third time testing the fence, it closed inside. And there was a 3 inside up, but I didn't take the reversal because I wasn't at my keyboard. And you can see it right here on the 2-minute chart. The 3 inside up, which is it typically is a reversal pattern. But the other thing in this context was that it also didn't open below the close of the bear candle where it started. So yeah, I didn't take it because of that. It wasn't engulfing like I was hoping that it would on that kind of a pattern, because typically that is a reversal. I was also looking for a nice hairpin turn to the downside on that 3 inside up. If it would have just closed below the low a day, that also would have been an entry for me to get in. The market just wasn't giving me any setups that I felt I could use. But at the same time, I was, like I said, I wasn't watching the proper chart for the opportunity. I thought I was getting a second waterfall. The fence was dead. It would have felt like chasing. Missed a 30-minute orb entry. I mean, the market, it could give you so many ins. You never know what's going to happen. You just have to continue being patient. You have to learn what you're doing. You have to learn how to read the chart, and if the opportunity presents itself, you can't really hesitate. You can only do what you do and learn from it. If you if you lose the trade or if you hesitate, you can only learn from it and move forward. And the thing is, there are thousands of other trades that I'll be taking in the future, so I'm not really all that heartbroken over missing a few entries. I just have to learn what I'm looking at and move on from there, and hopefully I don't miss them the next time they pop up. Thank you for joining me for today's lesson. The market has voted. Today's lesson is written. I hope something from today's trade helps you on your own journey towards becoming a more disciplined trader. If today's trade reminded you of something you've experienced yourself, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed today's journal entry, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button on the video and subscribe to follow the journey. Until next time, real thoughts, real trades, real journey.